Hello everyone, welcome to the vlog. This is going to be really, really exciting, really, really amazing. I'm so freaking excited about this. You have no idea. I'm so freaking excited. We're about to meet with these two amazing ladies, Kristen and Dina. They have a company called Big Little Feelings, and they are like toddler tantrum whisperers.
And you all told us to reach out to them.
Yeah, we had posted a vlog where Alfie, that week for some reason, he was just that was his default mode. And I was like, oh, is this our life now? Great.
Yeah.
Y'all suggested Big Little Feelings, and we're doing a Zoom interview right now. Okay, here we go. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We'll bleep that.
He doesn't really throw tantrums that much, but he's just started, hasn't he?
I would say the other week it was particularly bad, and maybe it was like he was teething or a growth spurt. I don't know. It was just his default mode was
I mean, I think it really depends on the kid. So like my first was pretty moderate. I'm like, is this a tantrum? Are you just upset? And then my second one, her default mode is like shrill shrieking face down onto like the floor like this for like 40 minutes straight, and has been since 9 months. They're all so different. And like you said, maybe it's teething. Sometimes and often it doesn't really matter like the why. And you'll just have those days where it's like, yeah, it could be teething, or it could just be like they just need to kind of get some feelings out.
We have slightly different ways of dealing with it, don't we? I would say. I ignore it, or try to.
I try to distract. Come pick me out a book, something else. I'm figuring he wants something that he can't have. That's normally the root cause of the tantrum. Yeah. He's weirdly obsessed with that garage door. Like, he'll open and shut that thing for like, he's like, this is awesome. Like, this is my idea of a good time. It's literally a death trap in here. We've got a music studio. We're filming in here. So if we're not in here, he's not in here. If we know all his needs are met and he's just upset,
yes.
Do you leave it alone, or do you cuddle, or do you distract? What would you say is the first step in handling that?
This is like textbook. This is exactly why we started what we did, because I was in the same boat. I read all the baby books, but it's like, okay, now, like, what do I say now? Like, what do I do now? Is there a child therapist who can tell me? And so that's where Dina comes in.
Their brain is still developing. Think of it as being like wildly under construction. So the parts that help them like manage what they want or their feelings, it's like we can't expect them to have that in control. So what we're going to do first is you're going to come in with like this calm, confident vibe. That's super key. We don't want to have a big reaction because it just blows things up more with them, but also it can accidentally reinforce like these bad behaviors.
Right. With the door, if you were like, no, and they're like, ooh, this is fun. So they're just going to keep going to the door.
And then you're going to okay the feeling. Like, I see you want to open the door. They just want to be understood a lot of times, just like all of us.
Yeah.
If you're upset, you want someone to say like, hey, I see you want this. I see you're upset. You're really frustrated right now. And that alone can be such a game changer. And then you're going to shift into the boundary, which is we're not going to open the door right now. So we acknowledge it. We hold it. We might have to like help them move away from the door. You can say, I'm going to help your body move away from the door. We're going to come back over here. I'm going to hold your hand. And then you're going to shift to a yes, which is like intuitively what you were starting to do. And shifting to a yes is giving them some age-appropriate power. Like, okay, so can't open the door, but we can play with blocks or we can play with cars right now. You choose, because that alone can shift them from like pushback mode to collaboration.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah.
And sometimes the shift to the yes doesn't like work. Just those first two parts are the most important. An adult who's upset and is like, why can't you see me? Like, no one's paying attention to me. What is happening? Like, it just goes. And so to just literally like get down if you can. And if you can't, it's cool. Like, you're still cooking dinner. It just doesn't have to be perfect. We don't need to be like Mary Poppins Sunshine. It can just be like, I see you. You want to open that door. That's super frustrating. It's okay to be angry. I get it. Like, we're not opening the door.
Okay, so you said get down to their level. I'd never do that. I should do that.
You're a big person who's like, this is intimidating, standing over them. So when you get down, their brain literally changes and like can calm down better.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that.
He'll do this thing where he puts his arms up so you slide down.
Slide out.
Almost like a wet catfish is what I call it. Yeah, you do the best you can, you know, pick him up, move him over, or not, you know, I mean, he can just melt down if you don't have to get him away from the door. I mean, let him just melt down near the door, but we're not opening the door, whatever you have to do to hold that boundary.
If that fails and he's like, screw you, I want the garage door, then what? Just really, then what? If none of that's working.
Yeah, well, that's just real life. Like, there are going to be moments, lots of moments where, you know, he doesn't shift to the yes and go do bubbles like happily. He's melting down, and you just keep okaying the feelings. And it's okay for him to let those feelings out. In fact, it's super important. And that can shorten a tantrum, like just in itself, is being able to let that all out. And two, it really strengthens your relationship over time too. It shows him that, listen, you can have big feelings. It's good to let them out. That's how we move past them. And I still love you. I'm here for you with those big feelings. And listen, you're allowed to hold boundaries. So it goes both ways. They're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to hold the boundary.
Also, like, get a child-proof lock, right? It's not for them, I feel like. It's for us. Like, I used to be, I'm like, I'm going to be so cool. My house is going to look the same. It's going to change. And then I realized I don't want to be chasing a kid around all day being like, no. Like, put a baby gate on it, put a lock on it. Like, we just don't go in there. Boom. That's it.
Yeah.
And is it important to give them options? Like, every time I notice you're saying, do this or this.
Yeah, a lot of times when they're so little, if you ask them an open-ended question, like, what could you do next time? They're just like,
Yeah.
So we want to guide them too when they need that extra help.
Toddlers love to be in control and powerful and in charge, which makes sense not only from a brain development standpoint, but also, like, think about it. You're telling them what to do all day long. Okay, now we go eat. Okay, now we do this, and now you do this. So giving them that little teeny piece of control. Let's say shoes. They're melting down. They don't want shoes. Okay, do you want to pick the cowboy boots, or do you want to pick this boots? Sometimes that can just shift them, like, this is my choice. I choose the blue shoes, and, like, just kind of shifts them out of that power struggle.
Yeah.
Well, Alfie's a quarantine baby. There's not much socialization. So one of my best friends got a house right down the street. So we did a little socially distanced congratulations. And he didn't really handle it well. Like, he just woke up from a 3-hour nap. He just had food. His diaper was clean. All the boxes were checked.
And
it was none of those
things. He kept trying to leave.
He would, like, run to the front door and be like, you know, to try and get out. And he just loves doors. And then he ran into a cactus, so we had to leave. The moral of the story, never leave the house again.
I have a quarantine baby too. She's 20 months. And we did kind of like a similar thing. She walks in there and she's like, hi. And she's parading around with our oldest, with Lou, who is nowhere near a quarantine. We were always out. We were always around people. When we would go somewhere with her, she just was really nervous. Bye, like at the door, wanting to leave the whole time. So it makes me kind of say it might be personalities, but it's very common at this age for them to feel unfamiliar in new places, with new people, and even people you already know, especially for certain kids' personalities, like my oldest, even if she's already met them before, still just a harder time. Unlike Junie, who's been in a quarantine and is like, hey, hi, what's up?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
The good news is you guys are actually the most important part of socializing them at this age, whether you're in a pandemic or not. How you interact with them at home, like holding boundaries, like okaying feelings, that is what they need for a later social emotional intelligence that they'll use at school and in the real world.
Particularly for those 0 to 2 age group, we feel that this pandemic isn't quite, like, us as parents just being around them, more than enough.
That's reassuring.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The only other question I had was, he gets into these sort of loops. Like, for example, when we go for the walk, there's a house and they have 2 little pinwheels in the garden.
He'll run behind the bush and then walk up to the pinwheel and go, what's that?
As if he's surprised.
And I'm like, we're like, it's a pinwheel. And he spins it and then he runs back around the bush and walks around and goes, what's that? Like, he's pretending that it's the first time he's seen it. Yeah. I mean, I look at it as a game.
It's funny, but I wonder if we didn't take him away, would he just keep doing that all day long?
Steven's basically like, does he have OCD?
Repetition is really healthy, good, normal, and what kids love. And repetition just makes your brain feel safe.
That makes sense.
The familiarity just feels really good to them. It's how they figure out how the world works by just doing something over and over. It's like, oh wait, is this going to do exactly what I think it's going to do? Oh yeah, it does. It does. That's how they figure stuff out and get comfortable with it.
Oh, I heard you say prevention. What's like one way to prevent?
One of the best ones that we have, parents just like love it, is the timer trick. So basically, when you have to transition from one activity to another, let's just say going and playing outside to like coming in for lunch. So they'll often push back. But if we give them that age appropriate power, they'll often work with us because they feel important and they have a job to do. So you can use a timer, and the one on your phone, your iPhone, works great because there's a big button that's super interesting, and we'll say, okay, we have 2 more minutes to play outside. Do you want to push the timer to start it? And they get to come push it, so it feels like their choice and they feel involved. They'll go play, the timer goes off. Do you want to shut the timer off? They'll come push it off. And a lot of times you'll see, they'll just go on inside, and it's like magical. They just run on in.
Super informative.
Yeah, love that.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We love you, by the way.
Oh.
I'm only sweating a little bit right now.
Oh, yeah. So many women were, like, swear by you guys. And
Yeah.
so it's incredible what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard to see because you're in it and people are just like, what shade lipstick is that? It fades you out.
Thank you for doing what you do, by the way. Like, when I hear you drop bombs on Instagram, I'm like, thank fucking God. Like,
Yeah, right?
you know, I mean, I'm telling you, even with my first, she was born 4 years ago, and anywhere I went on social media, it was just like Pinterest houses and do your activities.
Yeah,
And everyone had perfect. And I was like, well, I don't look like moms. I don't sound like moms. I'm a shitty mom. It's scary to be like that on the internet as a woman. You're breaking barriers, and it makes us feel less alone.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Dave.
Wow, you got someone.
Dave. Normally people leave me hanging.
Yeah, everyone leaves her hanging.
I'm always
Everyone.
the only one. I'm like, never.
That was really amazing. I really enjoyed that.
So many tips, right?
This is what I've got to remember for myself. Getting down on his level, saying, I know you're feeling X, Y, Z, and here's 2 options of other things we can do.
I love that.
Side note, my belly is growing every day. I swear to God, this morning I woke up and I was like, and you were like, are you okay?
Oh,
Remember that? It's just, I'm just growing every day, and it's a lot. It's a lot. You gotta go wake up early to pick up a toddler who's just getting heavier and heavier. Intense. Oh, how I wish I had someone else to wake up in the mornings.
I would get him every morning.
Oh, my ligaments, they're so fragile right now. It's just, he's so big now, you guys. But anywho, last thing I'll say, these Mama Llama shirts, come on. We've got them in purple and natural, and we've got light pink hoodies.
I'm gonna wear the
so
hoodie.
cute. You should totally wear those. They're available at boibs.com. Mama Llama, you've got hoodies, purple t-shirts, and natural t-shirts. So I just think they're so freaking cute. Love you guys. Thanks for watching, and make sure to comment below your experience with tantrums. What worked for you, what didn't. I'm dying to know. Okay, bye.